So at the moment I'm sitting here and just thinking of what I want to tell you. Kids are playing outside in mud, and it's got nothing to do with music, but it's got all to do with play and experimenting and um, exploring. So yes, what I wanted to say about formal music training. I am absolutely for it and not against it, but I want to say something about it. I used to have formal training myself, and it was good for me. Um, but I know that formal musical training puts a lot of kids off from music education, and so formal musical training is not necessary. Let me say that. Only if you really want your kid to go into formal music like classical music and so on, and sometimes it's too soon to say with little kids like this. If your kid has a talent with music and you can see it from a young age, um, then yes, I mean you can let them do formal musical training. I mean something like violin or a difficult instrument like
Yes, that
learning to play the violin. That would be a more, say, classical instrument. Doesn't have to be, but it's good to have formal lessons in that. But I mean, if you want to play piano, if you want to play guitar, if you want to play keyboard, these days you don't necessarily have to go the classical way. I think the more at home you make it for them, the more um, back to normal, back to everyday reality you make music, the better they will learn, and it will become part of them. So you can really do musical training. I mean, you can send your kid for lessons and they will definitely learn some stuff and so on. But with a lot of students, it fades over years. So
So yes, just getting back to what we were talking about, the formal musical training. Um, yes, some people get trained formally, and then at a certain age they just decide that music is not for me, or they just decide that kind of discipline is not for me, and they leave music, or they leave the formal training. But then later on, later years, especially boys starting to play guitar and so on, they get excited about an instrument again, and then they they want more training, or they just learn themselves, or they are inspired by their friends. Um, so that kind of classical musical training is not necessary um, for somebody to become a musician, or for somebody to, well, maybe I wouldn't go that far. If you want to make music your career as a performer, by all means, get all the training you want to. But as for little kids, formal training is not that important in the little years. But very important to give them a lot of exposure to music and experiences in music. Now these days you can very easily watch a lot of videos on YouTube, or you can actually do a lot of training and learning on YouTube. But that any musical exposure is what will make kids interested in music. And I can tell you, in the later years, if kids are really interested in music, they will ask for lessons. So I think it's better to suggest um, formal training if the kids are really ready for it, unless you see that your kid is a Mozart or somebody that's really into very, very talented in music. But to push your kid in anything that he does not want to do. That's not gonna help at all. That's just gonna put him off. So yes, formal training was good for me. I had a mom that supported me in continuing with music at the stages where I wanted to stop, and it helped me a lot. But eventually it was not the classical training that got me to do what I'm doing now, or got me to play the way I'm playing creatively now. It was very good for the discipline, and it was very, very good for the theory, and for me now to know about music and to be able to teach music and to know what to be able to play with other musicians and so on. So if you want to do music formally, you know, as a job one day or a career, say for your kid, then yes, I think formal training is good. But what we are doing at the moment is something you don't get every day, and because you get to play creatively, you get to learn in a very, very simple way and not in a abstract way, and you will learn the necessary theory that you need to be able to continue formally if you want to. To sum up, I don't think formal training is everything, but it is definitely it is good for those who choose it.